Three, two, one. We'll start with Bibi because
Well, this is just a follow up to last week, which is so that you get to hear it from my mouth. You were correct.
right?
No, he didn't fire his war cabinet so he could find a peaceful solution. Now it's
no.
I'm not stopping war.
It's like fuck you. I don't care what you guys voted on. Nope.
I mean, he's giving ultimatums to to his allies, which is fucking crazy, but okay.
It is fucking bonkers. How long do the people stand behind him? And I know he's already starting to lose a lot.
Yeah, which is why he's not gonna that nice little idea of he should call for new elections. He's not gonna do that because then
he already, and we talked about last week. He already said, "I'm not going anywhere until this is over, and then I'm out."
Right.
So he's not going.
And he's
anywhere.
not giving any indication as to a time. I mean, it is so very Bush administration.
Right. Mission accomplished.
Right. Oh, now that we got that done, let's start another one.
Right. We're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
I don't.
That fucking old cliche
so
thing,
gross.
you don't want to change horses midstream nonsense.
Yeah. No. So,
but yeah, it's I don't know if the Israeli parliament or the Israeli people can call for a referendum and for new elections. I would think there's probably some.
They're a democracy for the most part, right?
Yeah. No, they. I mean, they
elected
are
officials and representatives. It's set up the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have something.
I would think so. I would think that they have some sort of mechanism where either if Parliament
Jesus, I know where this is headed.
can all get together, or if something is put out and the people vote on a referendum and call for new elections, then I mean the other parliamentary governments only times I've seen that is we saw it with when David Cameron in the UK called for a snap election on Brexit, and that went horribly wrong for them.
It went wonderful. Yeah, it was just let's go.
And they're still dealing with it now.
How many years ago was that? Ages.
Yeah.
It was 3 World Cups ago.
It was or was it
it's
nine prime ministers ago?
Yeah. It's been a long time. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
And they're still fucking around with that. Yeah, so then the military, this is going to break. They're not going to have a civil war there, huh?
No.
Okay, I didn't.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't think that. But again, I would. I would think that they do have. If he takes it too far, that there are mechanisms, but maybe too they might be thinking that the international community.
They're doing what they can.
Keep them in check as best as they can.
How do you without physically going there?
And then eventually they will have to hold new elections. But then
imagine
this could mean that he kills his political party with it. I mean, that could be an outcome to this.
Or his enemies around looking at them going, they are weak right now.
Yeah.
Let's take them out.
Yeah.
Because that's just diplomacy seems to not exist anymore.
Well, I mean that's a good point too, because it's not like he's in the United States where you got to cross halfway across the world in order to.
He is bullseye.
Yeah, and again, all they'd have to do is convince one or two of the neutral and or allied neighbors to go at least we have to stop.
Yes,
so,
right. And then you've got. Russia and North Korea actively recruiting for the biker game, the Vandals. Now they're courting Vietnam.
The new one.
The new one.
Yeah,
bike riders.
That one I find interesting because Vietnam has very skillfully
stayed out of everything.
But they equally trade with the United States as well as with Russia and China. So
I just assumed it was all over there.
no, we still, a lot of that they still have a lot of raw materials that all the countries need and
I had
shit
a buddy
like that.
who lived there for years.
Yeah.
And he moved back. I was like, wait, it's not the Vietnam it was when I moved.
No.
But again, that was like 20 years ago or something.
Yeah, and it's progressed even further now to where it's not a communist nation,
No.
They still at times have flashes of, a tyrannical government when it comes to, like, if it was somebody who left during the Southern invasion after the U.S. bailed out and they're trying to come back.
I don't know.
Like
it's
like I have heard stories of that.
That's why they were there in Vietnam.
Yeah, but aside from that point, like it's at least in the urban centers, it's a westernized nation, and they do have, and Obama laid that groundwork to reopen trade with Vietnam, so we are a big purchaser.
I buy a lot of stuff, Vietnamese stuff, at the French market downtown.
Yeah, but among other things too. So they,
So why?
that would be a big gamble on their part if they
that's...
join something that then all of a sudden is going to get trade sanctions against them, not only from us but from Japan, Taiwan. Australia.
They're right there too.
Yeah, whoever's part of CETO. Still, if that is still in
South
existence.
Africa too, right? Is that a little too far?
A little too far, yeah. But depending on what side of the line India falls on, that's
that's another one. Yeah.
So, so that would be interesting. It's that. It would also show that they're not really paying attention to world economic news, and that you're backing one's a dead horse in North Korea economically, and then Russia is not faring well because of all the sanctions NATO's putting on them.
They've been cut off pretty much from the world.
Yeah, and then we're using their money against them.
Nobody's in open trade with Russia right now? Is Japan still?
That's some of those in between countries, right? So India still has open trade agreements with them.
Those in between countries.
Well, so India's in a position, and countries in main part of Africa, I would say, but are still open. Maybe not South Africa, but you still have a lot of them doing trading. Because they don't fall into any one of these alliances that would then immediately take them out.
They were just at that point a trading.
Yeah,
that's what they need to survive, but they're not trying to get into any fight.
Yeah, and that's what one of the things I think is what is scary about an alliance like this is the last times that we've seen stuff like this. It's because of these countries that are dwindling in their resources, and they need to open up new avenues in order to...
Which is what I was just saying about the countries in Africa.
Right.
They, out of necessity, have to trade.
Yeah. And there are some of those countries in Africa that, effectively know that they have, the modern or the real version of vibranium in that.
Yes.
Everybody likes microchips. Well, guess where all that metal is? Right underneath us.
Yep.
And we also know that you'll pay for diamonds no matter where it came from.
Or what they have on them.
Right. So, it's...
And Krugerrands.
What,
from
I
South
wouldn't...
Africa.
Krugerrand.
It's a Krugerrand.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised more
so now
that they go after more countries like Vietnam, like they start trying to make alliances
court all these
in the continental Africa and
locked out in that side of the world.
Yeah.
What about China? Is this the new axis of evil?
But see, again, that's another one too where I see China like India in that they're so big.
Right. They're
China's the largest country population wise. India's like second. So
India's not first?
They might be now, yeah. I guess, yeah, after all the birth restrictions that they had in China.
Right.
It dropped them a little bit. But either way, you're talking about, like, these are...
It doesn't matter.
These are massive self-sustaining countries that have their own nuclear arsenal, so they don't need to...
I always forget. I say this every time we bring up Indian nuclear arsenals. Because
Yeah.
they're the... Just made your point again about... They're the ones... Because they're just like, we don't...
Well, and that's why, like, here in the United States, we are ignoring some of the bad parts that Modi's doing.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to re-Hinduize India, which, is on the surface doesn't sound like a bad thing, but what that means is for the Islamic Indian residents, like, they're starting to have a tougher and tougher time, and very well could escalate into something like that's happening in China, where they're being put into camps, re-educated, and
what the United States will look like in 3 years if
if certain people
are elected,
are able to, and supported. I mean, that's the other big part about that for us. But yeah, I mean, and that's what Modi in his latest re-election is like. It's landslides.
Re-election.
Yeah, but I don't like India. They don't.
It wasn't like Putin winning 93% of the country.
They take that very seriously to where they'll run somebody out into like a tiny river village, and so that like that one person of eligible voting can get that vote in. Like it's not, but it's like
Australia has that
he's
too.
Huge. He's massively popular and if you're Hindu and you like your home country, like you're probably going to vote for him and his party. So
all these things.
But it's always good when you introduce religion into politics. It's always good.
Well, I mean, isn't that what it all about anyway? Except Russia, I guess that he wants land and power. It has nothing to do with any kind of religion.
Or he wants to be the religion. That's Putin's thing.
Okay. So he's creating his own organized religion?
He's
like, what's the Mormon guy? Jack, what's his name? Who started that shit?
Joseph Smith.
Yeah, Joseph Smith.
Yeah. I was
going to say Jack Smith, but that was way too generic.
No.
Joe Smith.
No, that's the dude in the Justice Department. But you listen to Trump's camp, that's what they think Jack Smith is. Or no, but I think
Trump's camp thinks he's the chosen one as well.
Yeah.
God, that is so crazy. That not just all over the world.
But it's to me, if you look at say like Putin, he just wants to go back to imperial Russia, where they believe that the power given to their leader comes from God, so therefore that person's a conduit.
That's what North Korea basically is.
Oh yeah, that shit is nuts.
I would fucking just love. Is that New Orleans? No. I would fucking love to visit there, but it'll never. It's like visiting that island with the locals with spears and shit.
Yeah, but there was that American citizen we got back, and he died within like a day of.